Hi, my name is Lucy Williams. I'm 27 years old, well, for about 4 more days anyway, and I have anxiety and depression. I was first diagnosed when I was 13 years old. Um, I basically had a sort of breakdown because I was being badly bullied at school and there was lots of other things going on at the time. And then I got better and was better for about 4 or 5 years. And then due to stress at my job, it triggered my depression again. It's not as bad this time, but well, I say it's not as bad this time. I don't want to jump off a cliff or anything, so that's always good news. But it is making me pretty miserable. But this time, I have a really good support network around me. My sister and my fiance have been absolutely brilliant, and I've got some really fantastic friends as well. And having support really, really does help when you have a mental illness like depression, because it's very isolating and you feel like you're on your own. Um, it's much better in that way this time than it was when I had it before. And I think part of the reason it got so bad before was because I didn't have any support from anyone. I had to sort of deal with it on my own. And I didn't really understand what was wrong with me. Well, now I've read a lot about depression and I feel that I know the signs and the way I am and what is just me and what is me being depressed. And it helps a lot with being able to stay at work and getting out and socialising or trying to socialise a bit. And that once you get out there, you feel better, even though beforehand you really don't want to. And I sort of give myself tips and stuff, like I find it really hard to get out of bed. So I'll set my alarm instead of just leaving it off, even on my days off. And I'll plan something like I'll go to a friend's house for early in the morning or something. Well, not early, but at a certain time in the morning. So then I have to get out of bed and go to it. Or, if I'm at work in the morning, then I know I've got to get up. Even though it's really hard and I feel like I'm dragging a dead weight around, it does make it easier because when I'm up and I've had a shower and stuff, I do generally feel much better. It's just before that, it's pretty bad. The idea of this video is just to see a little bit what it's like being someone with depression and anxiety who is young, so people don't think you've got any reason to have these things, these problems, but also I'm functioning, as in I go to work, I have a job, I have friends and a social life, and how do I manage to do that as well as have depression? It's not easy and it is difficult. Um, I am on antidepressants for it, which help a little bit. But I'm basically trying to say that you can have a mental illness and not be stereotypically in a corner crying your eyes out, um, and being angry and shouting at people and whatever people think people with depression do. I don't know. And that you can function and that you can live a relatively normal life, even though that normal life can be a lot harder for you than it is for normal people. So I hope this video diary of Lucy Williams is maybe a bit useful for people with similar mental illnesses, or maybe just opens a few doors for people who don't really understand depression or who are worried about relatives and friends that they are trying to support with depression. These are the tablets that I take for my anxiety and depression. Citalopram is quite a common tablet to get given for the mental health problems I have. I was on 20 milligrams, but they just didn't work. I was still having ridiculous amount of panic attacks and felt no different. So now I'm on 40 milligrams, which the doctor said is quite strong, but I don't know. 40 milligrams doesn't seem that strong. I've been on them this time for a year and a half. I don't like being on them, but I know from still having panic attacks and still having low moments that I probably still need to be on them. But I'm hoping I'll be able to cut them down at least soon. I've been off antidepressants before. I was off them for like 5 years, so I know that I can come off them and function normally without them. Just when I do have bouts of depression, I do need them just to get from A to B and to be able to even just get up in the morning and function. And it also means that I don't end up in tears half as much and I don't have as many panic attacks. And a lot of people who are like me do work and need to work to pay their bills. So having time off stress because I can't stop crying is not a possibility for me. So therefore, that's why I'm on antidepressants, but I definitely do not want to be on them for too much longer. I already feel that a year and a half for me is too long. I feel like I need to get my act together, even though it's not a choice and I've not decided to be on antidepressants and not decided to have depression. I kind of feel like I've had enough of myself now. I've had enough of myself feeling down and crap all the time. Well, these are some of the side effects for taking my citalopram. I don't usually read these things because they just scare you too much. But apparently what is very common is like sleepiness, which I'm always tired. I've got constant rings under my eyes at the moment. It's horrendous. Difficulty sleeping. That's why I'm sleeping all the time. Feeling sick. No. Increased sweating. Oh my God, that's totally me this summer. I thought it was just because it was really hot, but I don't normally sweat, even when I go abroad and it's like boiling. Reduction in weight. I wish. Pins and needles. No. Vomiting. Oh, great. Ringing in ears. Anxiety. That is supposed to be what the tablets are supposed to stop, not actually make worse. It always gets me about these tablets. Tremors. No. Lightheadedness. No. Loss of appetite. That'd be brilliant because I'm going to get married next year, but no, it's not me. Oh my God, some of these are not kind of relevant. Hallucination, slowing of the heartbeat, fainting, no. Oh, they're uncommon apparently. Liver disease. Jesus! It's like you take these tablets and you get more problems than what you started off with, man. Bruising, abnormal liver function. Oh, bloody hell. God. Ugh. So some of this is really disgusting. Well, not disgusting, but stuff you don't really want to think about anyway. Wow. See, taking these tablets, you should never take it lightly. I certainly don't, about what you take, because in my book, it can actually end up worse than what you started off with in the first place. And look at it, it's all one side. It starts like down here and goes all the way down here. All the list of all the side effects you can have. It's madness. Well, I went to bed at about 1:45 last night, which is a bit later than I normally like to go to bed. Got up at about 7:30. Who needs that amount of sleep? I'm still tired anyway, as usual. Got quite a lot to do today. Not at work till 4:30. Only doing 4 hours, but if it was like yesterday's shift, then that was more than enough. It's payday today, but we're still broke. So I need to put money in various places. I need to pick up a few things before work, and to be honest, I cannot be bothered. I really would rather just be in bed, which is probably why I have an issue with getting out of bed in the first place. I feel like there's a weight on my shoulders, something sitting on my chest, and it's like I'm dragging myself around the place just to do normal things like go and have a shower. This is the poem that I'm going to do my newest YouTube video for. I wrote it probably about 10 years ago, when I think this poem kind of shows I was recovering from the serious bout of depression that I'd had because I'd been bullied at school. And the reason for this is because I wrote this poem from my sister's point of view. If I had committed suicide, which is at the time what I wanted to do, I'm obviously seeing it from other people's point of view and not just my own, which was a good sign. But I think with this YouTube video, I want it to be my sister talking about it, not me, my sister reading it, and maybe having photos of me and her as we were growing up or something, just to kind of bring it home that it's actually a true story and I was writing it from my sister's point of view. But we'll see how it goes and what happens, but I think it will be a good one to do. Tomorrow is my birthday. I'm going to be 28. Don't feel old enough to be 28 yet, but never mind. And I'm starting the year how I'm going to go on. And I'm doing a Buddhism course, which I am dragging my fiance to. It's a taster session tomorrow. I'm always on some weird and wonderful quest to feel better from depression, or to at least ease the symptoms of it and find new ways of coping with some of the symptoms so that I can lead as a normal life as possible. And I've read quite a lot on Buddhism, and this course I'm going to be doing has been recommended to me by somebody on my blog and also somebody that I know through my volunteering work. So I'm hoping it'll, I don't know, make me feel better in some way, calm my anxieties. I think I'm kind of thinking it might help my anxieties and my anger towards myself, rather than anything else really. And I think that, well, I'm hoping that it will do that. Because if I can sort of stop some of the negative feelings towards myself, I think it will help with my negative feelings towards the outside world, other people, and my lack of patience with it. So I'm feeling optimistic about it. Not so much about the fact that it's my birthday. I'm so fed up. It's a joke. I'm sick of being tired all the time, no matter how much sleep I get. I'm sick of trying to change things about my life to make me feel happier, and nothing seems to help. Nothing seems to make me feel better. I'm sick of feeling like I have a weight on my chest and on my shoulders. I'm sick of feeling like I'm grieving for someone who hasn't died. It's like I'm grieving for myself because I feel so unhappy. I don't know why. I know I hate my job. I still hate it, even though I've swapped jobs, because I'm still in retail. And I don't know how to get out of it, because that's all I know and that's all I've done. Because I had severe depression when I was at school through being bullied. I didn't do as well at school as I should have, so I haven't got the qualifications to do much else. I haven't really got the money to get better qualifications, and even if I did, I've still got to wait for God knows how long until I get those qualifications before I can get out of retail. I know I can't really work. I know in my head I can't work, it's just going to keep making me worse. But I don't want to be just sitting at home all the time feeling miserable when everyone else is at work and getting on with their lives. I mean, I can't afford it. We just can't afford for me not to work at all. It sucks. I'd rather just stay in bed with the covers over my head and forget about the world. As soon as I go outside, it just all comes rushing back. People and their selfishness. I just hate it. I hate the world. I hate the people in it, but more importantly, I hate myself more than any of that. And myself as one person I can never escape. Can never escape from myself, from what happens inside my head. I'll never escape. It's like my own private hell. You can't even express it, you can't even explain it. We don't realise this is hell. There's no dying and going off somewhere else. I live in hell now, inside my head. I feel so unhappy. I really do. I've put a post on my blog about the link between anxiety and depression. Still, after all these years, there is so much misunderstanding and ignorance about anxiety and depression. One bloke has put on, as a comment underneath the article, as a thought, he says, why not pray to God to heal you of, I don't know, whatever he thinks I've got. What? That's going to make me all better? Is it? Is it going to take the feeling of anger and resentment and the feeling of self-worthlessness and all these things, is it going to take that away? It doesn't, because it's an illness. I've not gone, oh, you know what? I'm 13. What I really want to do is feel really depressed all the time. I feel like I can't get out of bed in the morning. I feel like someone's sitting on my chest and I've got to wait. Have a voice inside my head telling me that I'm not good enough, that I can't do this, I always do things wrong. You know, making me dither over the tiniest little decision because I know I'll do it wrong, because it's me, because that's what I do. I do things wrong all the time. If I could take that all away by praying to some God I don't believe in, trust me, I would. I really would. I'd convert just for that purpose, to get rid of it, because I hate feeling like this, and people don't seem to get that. How useful is that? What, do people with cancer or who've broken a leg or, I don't know, some other disease or illness, pray to God and that gets rid of them, that cures them? No, it doesn't. So why does he think it's going to cure depression? Because it won't. I don't know anyone who's had depression or anxiety that thinks, oh yeah, I'm happy with this, I'm happy with feeling like this is okay. They don't. We want to get on with our lives, we want to do things normally, not have to worry about the tiniest little thing all the time. But there's ways that you can help yourself through it, but the voice is always there telling you that you're no good, telling you that you can't do this. That I don't think will ever completely go away. You just, sometimes you live with it easier and it's just that little voice at the back of your head and it's easy to ignore. Other times, like now, when I'm bad with depression, it comes forward and it takes over everything, all my mind, makes me into a different person, a person I don't like. There's only so much control you can have over that. If you could control it as well as what people think you can, if you can just click your fingers and think, you know what, I'm just going to man up or whatever, you would, wouldn't you? Who would want to feel like they're grieving every day of their entire life? Who wants to feel that they're being pushed down by the weight of the world on their shoulders? That they feel like they want to cry for no reason all the time? No one wants to feel like that. He's talking absolute bollocks. I went to the anxiety class on Friday. It's now Tuesday, and it was good, if not a little bit depressing, which I know isn't the idea, but I went in and they taught you through it, and my fiance did come with me and talked us through it, but I just couldn't relax. Like, he was like, you know, unclench everything and this, and I was like, I was trying, but I could literally feel my jaw clench, and I'd unclench it, I'd be like, come on, calm down. Why am I clenching? I don't think I feel stressed. And I didn't clench it, then before I knew it, it was clenched again. It was like automatic reflex. And then, like, my fingers wouldn't stop moving. I kept twiddling my fingers and the rings on my fingers and things, and not, you know, doing that and not relaxing my hands, and I could feel my shoulders were all tense, and meditating was hard. It was hard to switch off my mind, and you know, there were different stages of meditation. Through one of them was to count one, do a breath inside, in and out, and then count one, and keep doing that. And if a thought comes into your head, push it away. And you know, if a thought comes in and you lose concentration, go back to the beginning and count to one again from one. I got to 5 the first time, and then that was it. I didn't get past 1 after that. It was the most mundane, stupid things that I was thinking of. Like, everyone else has got their eyes closed. Why haven't I got my eyes closed? And then I was thinking, oh God, I bet my fiance is going to fall asleep in this because it's that quiet. And then, God, those people outside, they aren't half noisy. And just stupid little thoughts like that that don't matter, but I just could not switch my mind off. And I kept trying. In the end, I kind of gave up. But I do want to go again because, like the fiance pointed out, it's not going to happen the first time. He fell asleep, as I thought he would, but at least he didn't snort or fall off his chair. But he's interested in going again as well. So we're going to start the course. We've booked in. We're going to start the course on the 20th of August, which is next week. So I'm hopeful that if I keep going, hopefully I'll find it easier eventually to switch off and relax, and hopefully maybe it will help in other things, like when I feel stressed, get stressed at work, but also maybe when I go to bed, if I can switch off certain thoughts and help myself relax, then maybe I'll find it easier to get to sleep than I do now, which would be amazing. So I am still quite hopeful and optimistic about it, because it's not going to cure my depression and anxiety, but it might help it and might relieve it a bit, so that it makes my life a little bit easier.